Let's do it. We are live here on a Friday Daily Ticket with you once again. If you missed anything on the Gambler at foxphlgambler.com, we got a lot of conversation coming your way on a bunch of different sports. It's the way we've always done it from the beginning, and we will continue to do so with some of the best voices out there, including the Philadelphia Union's legend and Sebastian Latou, Philadelphia Union legend in Sebastian Latou. I had an S there by accident. I don't know why. Anyways, yes, so Seba is on the brand new episode of X's and the U. Philadelphia Union with a game tomorrow, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that game with our next guest right here. He joins us all the time to catch us up in the world of the great game of soccer, of course, hockey, all that and more. And he's got a Substack. What do you have, Larry Henry Jr. on the Birds? Where are you at?
Yes, sir. Substack. It's called
That's it.
in the Bird's Nest. Little thing I'm doing now to cover the Philadelphia Eagles, trying to get some more coverage for the reigning Super Bowl champs.
In
Say it
the
again. Say
Birds.
it again, Sean. Reigning Super Bowl
Oh,
champs.
I thought you wanted me to
Oh, you
make
could
the
do
noise.
that as much as you want. That's fine.
I don't know if
Yeah.
eagles really make that noise. They make more of a shriek. I was more of a seagull on that one.
Yeah, it sends kind of. It's kind of like that. What's that? That sound like that chill up your spine, or that.
Yeah,
That's what I think of when I think of the Eagles. You're doing like a peacock or
yeah,
something. I don't
exactly.
know.
Something. Yeah. You never know with me on a Friday. All right, we got Larry Henry Jr. Great stuff as always, Larry, and it's good to catch up with you, man. Because yes, the EPL does start in August. Yes, it is August. As a matter of fact, the EPL gets started next week. Next Saturday, I see the lines, if I'm not mistaken, here. Excuse me, Friday, August the 15th. We got Liverpool back out there. Of course, why not? With the season that they had last year. I'm just so scared to even ask this question because Manchester United is opening up against Arsenal. And Larry, like, this is the issue that I have. I'm not, I guess to a definition, I'm a fair weather fan. I don't try to be. I still watch, I still tune in, but there are levels to my fandom. And when they lose the way that they have for the past couple seasons at the start of the year, it completely takes the air out of everything I have. And yeah, I tune in, I watch, but it's no longer like, hey, I can't go do this because Manchester United is on. No, then it's like, no, I could leave the house, like, you know. So here we are. It's a new season, new manager to a point, new blood, new life. Opening up against Arsenal, a little bit of an underdog at home to open the season. I know how good Arsenal is. Should I even believe for a second that they can open up with the victory here?
No, I 100% think you can believe in them. They made several moves this summer. I think it's going to be a very different Manchester United than we saw last year. I know Ruben Amorim had a full summer, finally like a full training camp under his belt with the players. He's made several moves. The two biggest moves as of right now with Brian Mbomo and Mateus Cunha, those two have already featured in the summer series here in the United States. Both of those were big signings. Mbomo had 20 goals, 7 assists last season for Brentford. Cunha had 15 goals, 6 assists last season for Wolves. Both of those guys they spent over 70 million apiece for. So Manchester United has definitely been splashing the cash this summer, and it sounds like from several reports that Benjamin Sesko, the RB Leipzig forward, who had 13 goals last season in the Bundesliga, he's going to be the next guy that's going to be joining Manchester United with at a deal that could reach over 100 million pounds. So 250 million pounds for 3 players, but good players. And I think they're players that Manchester United definitely needs if they want to get back into, competing for the title, being in the top 4, hopefully qualifying for Champions League. I think that this is going to be a definite turnaround for them. I don't know if they're going to win the title, but I think they'll definitely be in the top 4 mix for sure.
Unbelievable. 30-1 to win the EPL. It's just a sad state of affairs it's been. No one's saying anything that isn't true. We'll see. It's a new season and it's on to the next. That's all you can do. But it is a long season when they open up with a few losses, and especially the teams. Like, I could swallow a loss to Arsenal to start the season. It would sting a little bit more because it's home. But, there have been so many deflating losses, I feel like, in these last 2 seasons that it's just taken. Look, no one's going to feel sorry for a Manchester United supporter by no means, and I don't want the woe is me, but there's just levels to it, Larry, as I often say. That's all. And speaking of levels, I will say I don't think Manchester United is on the level of winning it all this year, but clearly, due to the odds, there are 4 teams that the odds makers do believe could potentially win the EPL this year. Liverpool back running it plus 180, Arsenal plus 225, City 3-1, Chelsea plus 850. I have to feel like that there's something to be made on Man City. I'm going to ask about Chelsea because I don't know much about Chelsea, but Man City at 3-1. I feel like, all right, you want to fire them up. I know what they have. Of course, the big man down low, he's incredible. Of course, Pep, great coach. And the fact that they were a little quiet last year. They were good, but correct me if I'm wrong. I don't really remember them making too much noise, but they have the talent. And oh, by the way, Oasis on the road, I think that's got to play into it a little bit as well here. So Man City at 3-1 has my attention. Love to hear your thoughts on City, of course, as a City supporter, and Chelsea at plus 850. Take us through those two plays.
Yeah, starting with City, I think it's definitely it's got to be a turnaround, right? The season they had, prior to last season, winning 4 league titles in a row, which was never happened in the Premier League era, let alone the top division.
They won 4 in a row.
4 league titles in a row, the first team ever to do that.
Wow.
And I think that just obviously shows the amount of depth that they had. Obviously the star guys, like you said, Haaland and Phil Foden had an awesome year back in 2024. With Pep leading the way. I mean, that treble winning year where they won the Champions League and the Premier League, and then they beat United in the FA Cup. I mean, that was an awesome end of the season. One of the best kind of eras of City for sure. Last season was a disappointment. Now it's about getting back on track. They did make some moves over the summer. They did lose a couple players, Kevin De Bruyne heading to Napoli, which was the big one. But they did bring in people. They brought in Ryan Cherky from Lyon. They brought in Tijani Reinders from AC Milan, who I think they both will help in midfield. They obviously brought in Omar Marmoush back in January from Frankfurt, and he scored a decent amount of goals second half of the season. The big thing for City is, they got to get back to that City way of holding leads and keeping the foot on the gas and scoring 4 goals, 5 goals, 6 goals, putting kind of the foot on the throat. We saw last season defensively, they were pretty horrendous at holding leads, and it was kind of, an unknown under a Pep Guardiola. I think they've made enough moves to be back in the mix. It's a long season, and they're going to have to play well against the top 6. They're going to have to get points against Liverpool. They're going to have to get points against Arsenal. They didn't do that enough last season. They lost a lot of games at home, which was for a while they weren't losing any at home. So I think there's money to be made on City. I think it's really going to go down to the wire. And like I said, I think those top 6 matchups, the Man City versus Arsenal's, the Arsenal versus Liverpool, the Chelsea versus Man City's, those really are going to define this title race. If you can win those top 6 matches, you're putting yourself in a really good predicament to win the title. As for Chelsea, it was a great summer for them. Nobody expected them to win the FIFA Club World Cup. They won. They made over 150 million pounds by doing so. They added more pieces to the roster, which was already good. They recently signed Uriel Hato from Ajax for 43 million. They got Jamie Gittins from Dortmund for 64. Joao Pedro, who they got from Brighton in the middle of the tournament, and then scores a couple big goals in the semifinal round and the quarterfinals as well. He joins. So Chelsea have a lot of depth right now. They're heading back to the Champions League, which obviously for them, a team of that stature, they should be in the Champions League every year. They have Cole Palmer, the Iceman, scoring goals. That celebration, the Iceman celebration. He really kind of defines that team. But they're back in Champions League now, and as teams, like City, like Liverpool, like Arsenal, you have to be prepared for rotation. You have to have the depth in the squad. You can't play the same squad week in and week out with the Premier League, the Champions League, the domestic cups. But I think there's made to be money on Chelsea as well. I think they're definitely going to surprise some people. And if they didn't win the FIFA Club World Cup, those odds would probably be you get a better payout. It probably wouldn't be, would you say 850? It'd probably be like 1,000, 1,200.
Just still the image of Trump staying on the stand as they're lifting, it's just still with me, and I'm just cracking up mentally thinking of it right now as he brought it up. Again, reliving the Chelsea summer as they were dominant here at Lincoln Financial Field in a few games, and of course that carried all the way up to MetLife as they won it all. With that being said, again, it is funny to look back at last year and how dominant Liverpool was. 84 total points. Manchester City finished with 71 in third. Arsenal at 74. Chelsea at 69. Oh, by the way, Manchester United again, 42. Liverpool doubled up Manchester United. That's how sad it was last year. So here we are. New season, new life, new blood, new expectations, and it's all going to come crashing down on me. We'll see what happens. We'll have some fun. All right, from the EPL, again, just to let everybody know, DraftKings Sportsbook is where we're getting our numbers from. Liverpool plus 180, Arsenal plus 225, City plus 300, Chelsea plus 850. I will put a little scratch on 30-1 plus 3,000 to support my team, Manchester United, the Red Devils. And I'm sure that ticket will be thrown away two games in, but that's all right. It's good to have there. Staying over across the pond, talk to me about Tom Brady. What's going on there? Wayne Rooney's the coach. There's a snippet of Brady questioning Rooney. He doesn't like his coaching style. And look, if he's the owner of the team and he doesn't like the coach, I don't think that plays out well for the coach.
Yeah, Tom Brady and Wayne Rooney. That clip has obviously, like you said, made its way around the Twitter X sphere
Brady
several
should keep
times now.
Rooney because of that. He should keep Rooney because now it's at least something that we're focusing on. It brings a little bit something more to the conversation because we all know who Wayne Rooney is.
Right. Yeah, I was actually, last season when they brought in Wayne Rooney as early as they did Birmingham City in League One. They part ways with John Eustace, which I didn't fully understand. I think they were sixth at the time in the table. And then, actually, no, it was 2 seasons ago, excuse me, when they were in the championship. They bring in Rooney, the wheels come off, they fall all the way down to the relegation zone. They eventually end up relegated, which for a team like Birmingham City, historic team, obviously Aston Villa gets a lot of the notoriety in Birmingham, but Birmingham City has obviously been around for a very long time. So Brady and Tom Wagner, who I believe they're both partnered up now with the Las Vegas Raiders as well. They put a lot of money into the team. They make a great coaching hire. And Birmingham City delivers one of the best ever seasons. I think it was the best ever points tally for a League One team last season. They win the division. They get promoted. I think they finished about 20 points ahead of Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney's Wrexham. And now they're back up in the championship and I think where they belong. Obviously aspirations will be high again. They made several moves already. They kick off the season tonight against Ipswich Town in the opener. So we'll see what happens, but I have to say, I don't know if you watched the whole documentary, Sean, but definitely it's a must watch. I always love those kind of, in the locker room, following the team around soccer documentaries. We've seen it with Man City and several teams in the past. That was a really good one. It was only 5 episodes on Amazon Prime, but it was definitely, had me on the edge of the couch, feeling like I was there at St. Andrews. It was a good stuff. And it's cool to see because we know what a competitor Brady was, to have somebody like that in the front office who, has won as many Super Bowls as he did, was such a competitor, defied the odds himself of being a 6th-round pick. And then being, the best quarterback of all time. It's pretty cool to have. So, it was a great watch and definitely recommend it. And we'll see if they can do that again this season. But, back-to-back promotions in any league are tough, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, they're taking on, you said Ipswich tonight. Birmingham is plus 160. Ipswich plus 180 to draw plus 230. So if you're pulling for Brady, you want Birmingham at plus 160. We'll keep our eyes on that. Always fun to have something else on our television screen, especially here on August the 8th. With that being said, let's go ahead and quickly get on over to the Philadelphia Union, Larry. And, of course, the boys in blue are back at it. Have had a heck of a summer, still on top of the East in the MLS, and I believe as far as the #1 record in the league. So that's good for the Supporters Shield. If not, they're right around there. But bottom line is this is a team that has a lot going for them right now. Just signed a new player. Take us through who they got there and the expectations moving forward for the Philadelphia Union over these next couple of weeks.
Yeah, I mean, Philadelphia Union staying staying on path, unbeaten in their last four in league play. And if you include the recent friendly they had against Eintracht Frankfurt, and they drew that game, so unbeaten in their last five. Back at it this weekend against Toronto FC. And the new player, Milan Ilowski, who they were able to get from San Diego FC. So actually, he was on loan to San Diego from Nordsjælland in Denmark. Scored 10 goals in 14 matches with San Diego, the expansion team, who's doing very well this season, sitting first in the Western Conference. San Diego decided not to exercise that option and keep him further on loan, and the Union were able to make a move and get him in the door. And I think he's definitely an exciting player, 26 years old. Like I said, 10 goals this season, so he's already got some good stats under his belt. Prior to that, Rat really hasn't done all that much in MLS. He's been with in the USL. He's been with Real Salt Lake in the past, but only made 2 appearances. He's been in the USL for multiple teams, like I said. So I think it's an exciting signing. I think it's a Union type of signing to get him in the door, add some more scoring and firepower in the final third for this kind of stretch of the regular season, and also with the Open Cup, coming up against the Red Bulls, the rescheduled match coming up next week. So I expect the Union to continue to take care of business. Like I said, they have a Toronto FC team this weekend who they should win that match, and then they have the Red Bulls midweek in the Open Cup, and then they have the Red Bulls again away in league play.
Yeah, so Wednesday back at it. Of course, Saturday night coming up here tomorrow night. Wednesday, they're just so busy until we go ahead and get to the playoffs, and then it obviously ramps up a little bit more there. But the Philadelphia Union, it could be the boys on a mission. I am totally surprised at where they're at right now, and it's one of those pleasant surprises that we don't get often in Philadelphia sports. So, folks, all I know is this: if you want to get behind them, you can find them at plus 900 on DraftKings Sportsbook. There's 4 teams in front of them. For my money, they have put up a fight up against every one of these teams in front of them, if I'm not mistaken. I don't remember. Did they play San Diego? I don't think they played San Diego, did they?
No, they don't have San Diego this season. Yeah.
But Inter Miami, Cincinnati, like they could run with these dogs. So plus 900, give me the Philadelphia Union. I like that to get a little piece of that pie action there. Larry, great stuff. Awesome to get this updated with you. Again, with the EPL, Philadelphia Union coming down the stretch. Your new Substack on all things birds. We got a lot to catch up on, man, weekly. So it's great to have you on the Daily Ticket. Always a pleasure. L Henry 019 on socials. Make sure you follow Larry for everything in the soccer world and more. And definitely subscribe to that Substack for the Philadelphia Eagles coverage. Larry, always a pleasure, sir. Can't thank you enough for stopping by on a Friday, man.
Thanks a lot, Sean. Have a good weekend, buddy. And go Man U next weekend.
Oh, we'll talk next week. There he is. Larry Henry Jr. on the Gambler Stream. We're keeping it moving here on a Friday. We got a lot going on, including the summer school session that we had this week between myself, Tansy, Mark Henry Jr., and Ryan Beef Coyle on all things college football. Cool thing we did here is we drafted a national champion via the snake draft. So we went 3 rounds, and you know how fantasy football drafts work? Well, we all went our snake draft style, and we all drafted a national champion. So find out with what teams I ended up with and whether or not I ended up with the best of the litter, or Beef, or Tansy, or Mark Henry Jr. I will tell you, Tansy ended up with 3 teams that I don't know I'd want a part of either one of them. But we'll tell you what those teams are coming up here on the other side. It's the Daily Ticket. Don't go to more of this.